Hello, Leo. Welcome to your August Soul session. I am Princess India if you're new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friend, and what's not, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead. Okay, good God. Cards went everywhere. We're going to go ahead and jump into your cards, sweet mother, and see what's going on. I'm going to take both of these. So you guys have two challenge cards and see what is going on with you all for the month of August. And then we're also going to be getting into a more specific spread to see what's going on with you guys. So first, your overall energy. Interesting. Your overall energy for the month of August is the Queen of Cuppies, and your two challenge cards are the Eight of Swords in the reverse, as well as the Ace of Wands in the reverse. So here's the thing, Leo. I feel like I said this for you guys in your July soul session, but I could be confusing you guys with someone else. But you should know by now by watching me that the Queen of Cuppies, which is why I'm going to clarify this, but the Queen of Cuppies for me is, my therapist card. You know what I'm saying? So the month of August may be, needing to reach out to a friendly local neighborhood therapist, or it could just be a need to confront some emotions. So more or less, and I don't know why the vibe I'm getting, well, not the vibe, but just a message that I'm getting, and it's not for everyone, it's just for those of you who have children. Those of you who have kids, and I feel more smaller children, I don't really feel like the energy signature I'm picking up on, it doesn't feel like what I have felt this summer having a teenager. Like summers when my son was smaller are vastly different than what they are with teenagers. So this would be someone, and I just heard 10. So this would be someone with kids that are like 10 and younger. And the specific thing that I'm picking up on is right about now, you're feeling very, do I want to say disheveled? Happy birthday, by the way, Leo. Happy solar return. But feeling kind of disheveled. And the vibe I'm getting is almost like having your hands in so many different things, doing so many different things, being tugged in so many different directions that it's almost feeling as if you've kind of lost yourself. And not saying like, in a whole existential sense, but it's almost like from the moment that you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed at night, it's like you're running, and you haven't really had the opportunity to kind of like catch up with yourself. So there's some sort of disconnect with that. But I feel with this Queen of Cups, it's more or less saying that there's a need for like emotional nurturing, like self emotional nurturing to occur. Like it's almost, this is weird. It feels almost like from the time that, like school let out, like it's almost like everything's been on pause since then inside of yourself. So things that are important to you, or thing like how you're feeling about things, goals that you have, like anything that is important to you has not been a focus for some time. You know what I mean? But I feel in the month of August, and specifically, like I said, for the parental figures of smaller kids, with your kids going back to school, it would give you an opportunity to be able to now sort through these things. I could see this being relevant for people who don't have kids, or if you got older kids as well, where it's more or less just this time frame you guys have been in up to this point. Your energy has been fixated externally on a lot of other stuff and people that's not yourself. So it's a lot has gone undone. And if I were to sum it up simply, it would be like self-neglect, but not like intentional self-neglect. Like I don't love myself, so I'm just neglecting myself. It's self-neglect because you've been pulled in so many directions outside of you. Let me go ahead and clarify this really quick, Leo, if you bear with me. Okay, let's go with this one. We have the, I don't know if y'all can see it. These are my counterfeit cards. And they're super small. It's the garden and the gate and the reverse. So what it's saying to me about this, Leo, is more or less that the ball is in your court in so many words. So with how this has been going, it's kind of like getting sucked into it. In the month of August, it's being made very clear to you guys that you have the power to stop this, right? And I feel that way, for my people where, it's not like kiddos involved. It's like you may have gotten sucked into, I don't know, somebody getting married and you're helping someone with their wedding, or, sending kids off to college, or your job's been tugging on you a lot. There's been stuff going on in the family and you've been doing this, that, and the third, right? And you kind of lost sight of yourself. But this is more or less saying, and I think it's a beautiful time with this being you guys' birthday season, this would be an idyllic time frame for you to kind of take a step back and prioritize yourself. So doing things for yourself, and your birthday could be a day where that's kind of initiated to where you're turning the tide in your own favor, right? And electing to focus on yourself because that's needed. Now, with your challenge being the Eight of Swords and the reverse and the Ace of Wands, and it's funny to me, because it's almost like a self-imposed kind of situation that you guys are in, not meaning in the sense of, you wanting to help people or whatever, or people, tugging on you, but self-imposed in the sense that you keep saying yes, right? So the challenge is going to be this month of breaking the cycle. So if I were to go back to those of you who have kiddos, it's like when your kids go back to school, they're not going to be, home all day long or whatever, right? They're not going to be eating all the snacks all day long, right? So you're going to have some element of time, like an element of like freedom, right? But there is the possibility, because for the last couple of months, you've been in this pattern of like, go, 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 go. It's going to be up to you to stop it. So the challenge for you guys is going to be seeing that things have shifted, seeing that things have changed, and the way that you've been approaching things up to this point, you don't have to continue it moving forward, right? You have the power to be able to choose to stop and to, redirect your focus to yourself. But the challenge is really going to be breaking out of it. You know what I mean? Like taking, make it, what's the word I'm looking for here? Oh, like taking advantage of the opportunity that's available to you. And that opportunity being, you don't have to do this stuff anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's recognizing that you're doing it and electing to disengage. Now, getting into our more specific spread, your central energy that's representing you guys. Yep, that's confirmation. We have the Emperor, that is Aries energy. Your past influence is the Seven of Cuppies in the reverse. Your hidden influence is the Knight of Pentacles. Your above energy is the Page of, your above energy. Your outcome, potential outcome, is the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. And then what to look out for moving forward, we have the Nine of Cuppies in the reverse. So what it is looking like, Leo, much like I said in you guys' overall energy in your challenge, with the Seven of Cups in the reverse in the recent past, meaning the latter part of July, there's a sense of clarity. It's funny to me, dude, because it's like the stuff I'm seeing in my head, it's just so funny because like I'm seeing literally like Leo like in the fog, and it's like bam, everything's like clear. So it's more or less leading up into this point, specifically focusing on the latter part of July. It's feeling totally consumed by everything, and suddenly like it stops. So this could be the equivalent, like I said, with those of you who are parents, where it's like you're here, there, everywhere, doing all the things, and suddenly, I don't know, you get a text on your phone about, I don't know, the day that's the first day for your kids to start school, and it hits you and you're like, oh damn, the kids are about to go back to school. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like in your mind and in your energy, you're seeing what like the last 2-3 months have been. And because you've gotten so, used to that, it's almost like projecting that into the foreseeable future. But it's almost like something snaps you out of it to where you check the facts and you're like, oh, well, this isn't the thing. You know what I'm saying? This isn't really what's happening. So the good thing is that there's clarity that's on you guys' side. And I mean, this could have even happened with realizing, like, your birthday is coming up and someone being like, hey, what are you doing, on your birthday? Do we have plans? You know what I'm saying? It feels more to me like something that kind of snapped you guys out of this kind of haze that you've been in up to this point. So again, that is a good thing because you guys are coming into the month of August like in a clear headspace, right? But I feel the thing that's going to be super important, bouncing back to our challenge here, is you guys making the most of this opportunity that you have. So the clarity that you have is, as opposed to electing to focus on what's going on with everybody else, is taking this clarity to focus on yourself. Because I feel that this is kind of like a temporary clarity, if you will, to kind of give you an opportunity to course correct. But, we all have free will. So what could potentially happen is electing to use this clarity to again refocus on, stuff, things, people outside of yourself, right? So the most important thing to drive home here is, moving forward, it's time for you to focus on you, right? Now, with this emperor representing you guys, this is dead ass saying that you guys have the power, right? You have the wherewithal, you have the knowledge, you have the tools, you have the resources. You know what I'm saying? You're able bodied. You know what I'm saying? You could pick up the phone, call a therapist if you need to, right? But it's like you are in control of your own, and I hate to say destiny because that just makes it sound so lofty minded, but you know what I mean? Like destiny meaning and how it is that you move forward. And something that I often say to you guys when it is your birthday season, it's almost like you have like a double portion, of power, like when we're speaking in terms of manifesting. So I'm kind of seeing this as like a clean slate in a sense, Leo. So you guys are being offered a clean slate on how it is that you want to charge forward now. So if you look at your birthday as like crossing a threshold, if you will, right? It's like you have an opportunity on offer to cross this threshold with this clean slate. And you have like this double portion of power behind you, right? For things to work in your favor. But it's up to you what you choose to direct that energy towards. And again, like I was saying, what I feel like this reading is saying is for you to not use this power and authority that you have on anyone else. Now, by all means, I'm not saying like neglect your kids, neglect your partner, neglect your friends, family, right? It's just like, screw you guys. It's about me. Not saying that. What I am saying is that I feel that it's time to kind of refocus and reprioritize yourself. Because, of course, we know if we don't fill our own cup first, we're not going to be any good to anyone else. We're not going to have anything to give anyone else. And I feel this is kind of happening for you guys prior to you getting to a point of burnout. Because I feel if you guys were to continue the way that it is now, you could burn out because you could use like this, burst of energy that you have and end up channeling it into other people, again, pouring into them, not pouring into yourself. And then the next thing you know, you're just completely tapped out. You know what I mean? So again, my apologies for being redundant. Now is the time for you to take whatever inspiration, whatever clarity that you have and refocus this on yourself. And know that by focusing on yourself, that, everyone else you're responsible for, or what have you, are going to fall into, alignment by default. Now, with you guys, hidden influence being the Knight of Pentacles, what this feels like to me, and I want to clarify to see what it is specifically, and what I'm hearing in my head, I don't necessarily want to say that to a Leo because I feel like you guys might bite me or like punch me in the face or something. But it feels to me almost like a wanting to be, gosh, please don't be mad at me, Leo. It feels to me almost like a wanting to be rescued kind of deal, but not like, someone to sweep you off your feet and solve all of your problems. It's almost kind of like a secret desire, but how it is my guides are painting this to me is to have this desire is also simultaneously to say to yourself that you're not capable of doing it. Right? And I'm gonna use like a cuckoo bananas kind of example. So say like you don't have a car, right? And you look at your income and you feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm never going to be able to save for a car because I'm going to need like, $3,000 for a down payment. Or if you're buying a cash card, like I'm going to need like 6 grand, to purchase a car. And it's like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to save for that. Now, realistically, right? There's always 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Like I say, whatever it is that, you make, and I know this cannot, go for everyone because everybody has different situations, but just bear with me, like if you could save $1 out of each paycheck, you could save $5 out of each paycheck and put it to the side, right? You could save your whole tax returns, you know what I'm saying, when you do your taxes. So there's methods to be able to like save money. Would it be the amount of money that you would want? Probably not. Would it be within the time frame that you may, particularly want it? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? But it's still like a possibility. So it's just the thought of like, say hypothetically, all you could save out of each paycheck is like $50 or something like that, right? And you do the math and you think about, well, let's not say $6,000 and make this a defeatist thing. Let's say like 1,000, like, or 1,500, right? So if you were to save $50 out of each, paycheck that you get, maybe even like, not eat fast food anymore, or, cut off your Netflix account or whatever, save this money to the side, and you add up how many months it would take for you to get to like $1,000 or $1,500 to put a down payment on a car or to buy like a cash car, right? It's like, it's discouraging because it's just like, damn, that means, for the next X amount of months, it's like, I'm still going to be without a car. And that's where that desire comes up of like wanting that, rescue. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. Like, it's not a sweep me off my feet, solve all of my problems. It's like, maybe if I talk to my parents about how hard it is, catching the bus, maybe they'll throw me like, a little bit of money or offer me to use their car. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the vibe I'm getting is with this Knight of Pentacles and you guys' hidden influence. That's what I mean by someone to rescue you, right? But the thing that my guides are telling me in reference to this is to have that desire is simultaneously saying to yourself that you can't do it. Now, why am I even talking about this? Why is this coming up? I feel the reason why this is coming up is because it's the message isn't that there's anything wrong of wanting someone to reach out and help you out and throw you a bone. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the other side of it that I feel is kind of like this hidden belief type of thing. And I feel this is something that has been showing up in different facets of your life. Oh, wow, that's a whole word, child. That's a whole word. Okay. Well, that just got real. So, what I heard in reference to this brings me back to you guys' overall energy, which is with the allowing oneself to get pulled in so many different directions that are in service to other people. That's kind of another way that this hidden influence is showing up, because it's kind of being supportive for other people in a way, and this is a subconscious kind of thing. It's being supportive for other people in the way that you would hope that they would show up for you. So it's kind of like the pattern of behavior that you guys are in, like why it is, like I said, you got sucked into this, doing this for this person, showing up for this person, whatever the case, even if it is with your kiddos, you know what I mean? It's what you are subconsciously enacting in your behavior. It's like you're modeling how it is you would want other people to show up for you. Now, the downside of this, when we're caught up kind of in a behavioral pattern like that, we can often get disappointed, because when we find ourselves in situations where we're in a bind, like I was saying, like the car situation, our thought is like we kind of get double disappointed, because it's just like, damn, when this other person was in this situation, I showed up for them, and now I'm in that situation and they're not showing up for me like that. And that can kind of make you bitter, where you feel like people in your life don't love you and don't, appreciate you. But I can tell you, as a therapist, majority of humanity is very self-centered, and not saying in the sense that they're like F other people. It's just there's so much stuff that each individual person is dealing with within a day that rarely, unless you're a person who's just built that way, you know what I'm saying? Some people will call themselves empaths, like in that regard. But where you're constantly thinking about other people, I mean, that could be a little bit of anxious attachment too, I'm not gonna lie. However, but you're constantly thinking about it, or people pleasers. Anyway, but you're constantly thinking about other people and like the ripple effects of your actions. Like, if I say this person's going to be affected this way, or this might hurt this person's feelings. And, I feel this way, but I'm not going to show this because this other person, you know what I'm saying? That's also a byproduct of childhood trauma, by the way. When you had inconsistent parenting, you didn't know who was going to come home that day. Was it going to be nice dad, or was it going to be like dad who's flipping tables and shit? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're very observant of the external environment and how, your actions, behaviors would have you affect other people. You know what I'm saying? Just a little side note there. But what they're saying in reference to this is that's really what it is that needs to be addressed. So when we're talking about this Queen of Swords, right? And I talk about either going to a therapist or some type of self-emotional work that you guys are doing, this is about bringing what is in the subconscious into your awareness, right? And how that's happening is, if what I'm saying you're resonating with and you're like, damn, I be doing that, girl, right? That's what's bringing the subconscious conscious, because it's like you're recognizing it, like, I resonate with that, I do that. Now it's in your awareness. The next step would be accepting that this is the truth, and now you have the power to curb that behavior and change it, in so many words. You know what I'm saying? So this is more or less about, and child, I even got to say this too. Damn, Leo, they coming for y'all. And this is reminding me about a reading I did years ago, child, where we talked about this. This was like 2019, before Rona. It was like a whole reading. If anyone has been here that long and you guys remember that reading, please go ahead, put that in the comments. But it was a whole reading I did about passive aggression. It's the whole reading was about a Leo that was utilizing passive aggression, but it was coming from a place of like a fear of asking for what it is that you want. And, passive aggression is like a backdoor way of a person getting their needs met, because in your environment, you feel that you being direct and asking for something that a person would tell you no. So being passive aggressive is like the way that you kind of sidestep in order to get your needs met. So this is giving me those kind of vibes as well. So the whole thing about this is like being assertive, direct in your communication, asking for the time that you need, and, not necessarily trying to model for other people what it is that you would want from them, or, necessarily, I don't want to say it that way. That was about to come out wrong. I'm not saying not expecting people to reciprocate, but being conscious that what we model as our behavior, like how we choose to show up in the world, that people in our life may not choose to model that. You know what I'm saying? And if that's something that you don't jive with, I mean, there's people that you really shouldn't have, in your inner circle. You know what I'm saying? But in so many words, this is what would behoove Leo to address. You know what I'm saying? And I feel it's almost like that's where this balance of like the true essence of the emperor, where that comes from, because I feel the emperor a lot of times is seen as like this hard ass ruler in a sense. But in my perspective, I feel the emperor is a very soft and compassionate, gentle as a lamb kind of figure, like the ultimate father figure, in the sense that, he lays down the law, but it's the fact that he's constantly thinking about, all of the kingdoms in which he's the emperor over, and thinking about everyone's best interest and who needs what and who's lacking what. So it's a selflessness to his character, but you don't necessarily see that about him until you really get to know him, or you really look at all that he does and see, through his actions and behaviors, like, wow, this person, has, a huge heart. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, they wouldn't always be thinking. But the imbalance with this would be the emperor takes care of himself, thinks about himself, and makes sure that he is at his very best. And that's the only way he's able to, proverbially take care of all of these kingdoms of which he is the ruler of. And I feel that's what the goal of this is. So there's an imbalance here with Leo, to where you have stepped into your emperor energy, but it's like that inner part is what's lacking. If we were to call it like the inner empress, if you will. So that self-nurturing kind of energy, that's the facet that's lacking. You know what I'm saying? So your leadership or your rulership is going to be kind of off kilter, because it's not coming from, a cup that's overflowing. You know what I'm saying? It's coming from a cup that's bone dry. You feel what I'm saying? I hope and pray that that makes sense. Now, when we're looking at the Page of Pentacles in your potential outcome, Leo, I can tell you guys by the latter part of August, which is why I spent so much time kind of explaining this. By the latter part of August going into September, if you guys are kind of waiting for some type of windfall, surprise, rescue, or something like that to happen, I don't feel like that's going to come to pass. This is very much an energy of like picking yourself up from the bootstraps type of deal. But I don't want you guys, I'm saying I don't want you to, but I have no control over how you choose to see it. But I would feel you kind of would miss the message if you kind of interpreted that as like, oh, that's effed up. Like, it's just me type of deal. Because I feel there's a vital lesson in this, but it has not much to do with the situation at hand, if that's making sense. So if we went back to the car analogy that I gave, right now, because of course material problems always do that to us, but you don't have a car hypothetically, and it seems like the biggest issue, problem, challenge in your life is that you don't have a car. And I'm sure you could come up with a laundry list of reasons why this is the sole issue and problem in your life, right? But I feel spirit is using this, instance in your life, this juncture in your life, as an opportunity to show you something that is occurring underneath this, right? That potentially led to you being in this situation in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And it has something to do with Leo perceiving themselves. And this is, child, look, whoever resonate with this child, it's just got to be hitting your spirit. Because the thing my guys just said is ego. And I'm like, I get it. Because the vision I just saw, they said ego, and I saw the thing. It's almost like this message coming in, and it's like ego puffing up and like blocking it. You know what I'm saying? So this would have to be something that would hit you straight to the heart, because it, like, I get it. It would kind of piss you off, for lack of better terms. You know what I'm saying? But in so many words, it's whatever this thing is, it has been almost like a silent killer in a sense. Just like, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm doing this. I don't even know what the word is for that. Like, it's just been hanging out underneath everything and like influencing everything, to where in each instance in your life, it's this desire for this, like a missing piece, if I could say it that way. And it's the self-perception as if you are lacking in some way. And I feel the rebuttal that your ego would say is like, I don't feel like I'm lacking anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for nothing I'm not looking for nobody to save me. I don't want money from nobody. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like that ego portion of it. But that's why I'm saying it's like why they're showing it as this mirroring thing. It's like the conscious perception is this, but what you're really saying is this. You know what I mean? to, offer someone a shit ton of help because, you're fearful of this person like making a mistake. That's simultaneously sending a message that you feel like they're incapable to do it by themselves. Both of them are true. Granted, consciously your intention is to help. I don't want to see you fuck up your path, so I'm helping you out. But like I said, simultaneously, it's also saying the message that's being sent to that person is you're not capable to do this, so I need to protect you and do this for you to prevent you from making, a mistake. You feel what I'm saying? So that's like the message that I'm trying to get out to you guys here. So that's the thing that has to be addressed, because if it isn't, then when the problem is solved, right, you get another car, right, solution. It's like in other facets of your life, you're gonna end up, recreating the same instance again, and I feel what the whole goal of this is, and I think it's a beautiful time because, like I say, it's you guys' solar return. I love birthdays. I feel like it's a fresh start. It's like your own little baby, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day when your birthday comes. And it's kind of like, in a sense, giving yourself an opportunity to set New Year's resolutions, you know what I'm saying, for a whole new year that's starting for you. And I feel this is a huge part of it, right? It's addressing the fact that in some shape, form, or fashion, there is some glass ceiling that Leo has created for themselves where it's something you feel like you can't obtain or achieve or do by yourself. You're rationalizing it by life circumstances. You know what I'm saying? But it's not 100% the truth. Now, the thing to look out for here with this Nine of Cups in the reverse is, what are you really doing this for, right? Like what it is that you're working towards. So if I use the example like with the kiddos, right, like this is a Leo person who's putting all their time, energy, and effort into their kids, and your friends, and your auntie is alone, she don't have anybody to cook for you, bringing her food, you know what I'm saying? Your friend ain't got no car, you bringing her to work every day, you babysitting her kids because she got to work overnight, right? Like you're doing all of these things and you're putting so much effort into it. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, is this what you want to do? Is this what you desire to do? Is this what you aspire to? Or are you doing this because it's a should, ought, or supposed to, right? That kind of rhymed. Didn't mean to do that. Is it something that you're doing because it's a should, ought, or supposed to? Or is it something that you're doing in hopes that whoever you're doing it for would show you that same kindness? And how is it that you would feel if that other person didn't show you the same gratitude that you showed to them? Would you feel it was still worth it? Or would you feel kind of embittered or jilted? You feel what I'm saying? If you're always there for them when they're in need, when you're in need and they didn't show up, would you feel a way about that? You know what I'm saying? So I feel that's something that's important, which takes me back to where it is that we started with this Seven of Cups in the reverse. There is a clarity and a supercharged power that's behind you guys coming into August. But instead of what you may have done in the past, which is focusing that energy more on other people outside of yourself, I feel now is a time for Leo to be selfish and to pour back into yourself. Use this supercharged energy, this clarity, this inspiration that has come in on yourself. And that is not a wrong thing to do, because I feel if Leo does that, everything else is going to fall into place. Okie dokie. I hope and pray that that made sense, Leo. Most certainly let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, I love your freaking face, Leo. Happy solar return and whatnot, or whatever. Enjoy it. Roar, 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 roar. Only Leos know what that means. But anyway, I will see you guys